Alright. So our next project I talked a little bit about yesterday. Our next project is going to be a very detailed drawing project. And it's a detailed pencil drawing. And we're going to use things like perspective and shading that we've already learned, and we're going to use a couple new techniques that we're going to learn to do a really detailed drawing. So why do I have this up on my screen? Well, this is kind of the opposite of the detailed drawings that we're going to be doing. So yes, it's a painting, but it lacks shading and it lacks perspective. Those are the two techniques we've learned. And you'll see here, when it lacks shading and it lacks perspective, it's really flat and two-dimensional instead of three-dimensional. So you'll see the artwork's come a long ways. Alright, so perspective, we saw this example before. So before artists really had a good handle on perspective, things looked really wonky. And here you can see the difference when they figured it out. So we're using those kind of tools because they're available to us to make our art more successful. Just like this artist really had a great handle on perspective and had a really great handle on using a light source to make a beautiful painting. So the drawing we're doing, it's going to be called the trompe-l'oeil drawing, and that's a French term for fool the eye, trick the eye. And what that means is we're going to draw something that's so realistic that we're going to fool people into thinking that it's three-dimensional. Yes, you can do this. All right, a couple questions to keep in the back of your mind while we learn about this. How do artists create works of art that effectively communicate? How do you tell a story with your artwork? How do artists read or understand that story? And how do artists use tools or techniques to express their ideas? I've already talked a lot about tools and techniques today. Just now. We're going to learn some more. So, French word for deceive the eye. Trompe-l'oeil is an art technique involving realistic imagery in order to create an optical illusion that depicts objects that exist in three dimensions. It's like a circle. We have a circle and it's flat. Then we add shading to it and it becomes a sphere or three-dimensional object. So this started a long time ago. What was that? 400 BC. So there's a little story that goes with this painting. There once was this king who hired this artist and commissioned him to do all these paintings for his kingdom, and he was a very big lover of art, and he would spend hours a day looking at this beautiful art that this artist painted for him. So another artist comes to this village, and he's in tattered clothes, and he says, "Your artist isn't the best artist in the world, in the kingdom. I am." And the king kind of laughs at him and says, "We'll have a competition to see who's the best artist." So for a month straight, these two artists work day and night, and the one established artist in the kingdom creates this beautiful painting of these grapes and these fruit in this bowl. He's using shading, he's using perspective. It looks pretty good. It's old, but it looks pretty good. And the king has this big ceremony to reveal the two artists, and a bird flies in, hits the wall to get a grape, thinking they're so realistic, and falls down. And the king says, "Aha, my artist is the best. He's fooled this bird into thinking this painting's real." So the tattered artist here kind of looks down at his shoes and seems to be embarrassed. And the king says, "Pull the curtain off from your painting to reveal it." And the artist kind of staring at his shoes, a little embarrassed. So the king walks over to the shabby-looking artist's painting and goes to pull a curtain back to reveal the painting. But when the king goes to pull the curtain, there's no curtain there. It's just painted. So this shabby-looking artist painted something so realistic that he didn't fool a bird, he fooled the king. So he was declared the winner. I'm sure the king was embarrassed. But this has been happening for a long time. People have been trying to paint really realistically or draw very realistically. They didn't have the tools that we do these days, so it's going to make it easier for us. So this is a flat painting, but it appears that this kid is kind of crawling out of the picture plane. So how do artists create this kind of trickery of your eye? Well, shadows have a lot to do with it. Perspective has a lot to do with it. If you were to Google this art technique, trompe-l'oeil, what you'll get is you'll get mostly paintings instead of drawings, and they look like this. This is a theme we often find: books, Very popular in the 1800s, still popular today. We'll see some more modern examples. Usually, an art piece has a theme to it. It's a collection of objects that are all related to each other. Mia, what's the theme on this left one? Or the right one? Pick one. What's the theme? It's all hunting related things. So, a hat, a gun, a dead bird. I think that's a tool to make like an animal noise, maybe, to attract the birds. The one on the right, mostly musical instruments or musical themed. So here, this would be a domed ceiling of a wealthy person, and it looks like you could see the sky through the ceiling, but that's really just a painting. They're just done so well. So that is a vanishing point in the center. All of these lines are going to a vanishing point to create this illusion. So here you can see it on a building. If you're looking at it from the side, you can see this row of bricks that kind of sticks out. So we know that this is a flat building, just like this one is. But if you stand in the center and look at this, it appears that you can walk up into this building. Tricks your eye. This one makes me think of that story with the king and the curtain. Again, a flat building, but painted really well. Alright, so this is a street artist, and his name has just escaped me, but it'll come to me. And this is a globe he's painted on the sidewalk, and you can see that it is not a circle. We know that globes are circles. We know that rolls of tapes are circle. But when you draw at different angles, they're no longer circular. They become this shape like an oval. It's called an ellipse. So it looks pretty silly from the side, but when you look at it straight on, it becomes the circle. And because he's painted it at that distorted angle, it appears like it's popping off the sidewalk and he's standing on it. Alright, I've got a short little video to show you. How do I start this over? No. Ugh. Okay, we're working on a flat sidewalk here. There's a vanishing point somewhere below that we can't see. All those lines are going to one vanishing point. Okay, so this... Okay, so there's a vanishing point somewhere at the bottom. This artist used lines to that vanishing point and then they used value to create these indents. So it's amazing what you can do in artwork if you have the proper tools. So the tools we're going to be using for this project are pencil, ruler, a grid, and a photograph. So we're going to learn really soon how to use our pencil to create different values, how to create soft rose petal-like values, how to create harder values like a post of wood, how to create value that in texture that looks like soft hair or wrinkled skin. We're also going to have a little contest along the way. So at one point, we're going to, draw some circles, and using just a few pencil marks, some of these look very textured. So we've got smooth, we've got lumpy, bumpy, fuzzy, hairy, see-through, crumbly, and this is something we're going to do. We're going to have a little contest who can create the best textures, the most creative textures. That's coming soon. Alright, so some more examples of what trompe l'oeil paintings or drawings look like. And I talked a bit about theme before. So you're going to create a drawing that has a theme that represents you, your life, your hobbies, your interests. In the past, I've had a couple people do a drawing where the objects represent somebody else, like a grandma or something of that sort. So this one, the theme here is music. We've got concert tickets, guitar strings, guitar pick, money, vegetables. I don't know what this theme is, but it's pretty realistic looking. This one looks like somebody went on a vacation to Yellowstone Park. There's some postcards, there's a tag, some souvenirs, feathers. So what you should be doing is kind of thinking in the back of your mind what objects you might want to draw for this project. I'm going to suggest you bring in 3 objects to photograph here. You're going to get to take them home that same day. They just need to be here so we can photograph them. They should say something about you. Are you a collector of things? Are you a video gamer? Maybe bring in a remote control. Are you really into some kind of sport? Bring in a sneaker. This is more along the lines of what yours will look like. So we're going to work in pencil. We're going to draw just a few objects. We're going to take into consideration a composition. So we're going to have things that overlap and go off the picture plane. A lot of people will bring in sports-related items, trinkets. It is up to you what you want to draw. My one suggestion is not objects that are super detailed and super complicated. I'll show you some examples of some other student work too after this. Alright, at the end of this PowerPoint, there's a couple different YouTube videos that I recorded. And they're going to be assigned to you in Google Classroom. I actually assigned them maybe half an hour ago. I'm switching back to Google Meet on my laptop, guys. Moving on. Okay, so you had to draw a roll of tape or a roll of toilet paper for a homework project, and that was time to kind of prep and practice for what we're doing next. So your next assignment, you're going to choose a drawing. There are pictures of rolls of toilet paper, and there are pictures of rolls of tape. You're going to take one of those home. Alright, the next YouTube video that you're going to watch shows you how to draw 1 by 1 inch squares on this image. Here, it's going to show you how to measure. You're going to make 2 measurements, top and bottom, before you draw those lines. And then it's going to show you how to grid a corresponding paper. This assignment can be done in your sketchbook. If you have it, if you've misplaced your sketchbook, this assignment can be done on a scrap piece of paper. So, what you're doing is you're learning how to grid an image to enlarge it, or to draw it accurately. Our still lifes that we're going to photograph, I'm going to print out for you, and we're going to grid those and draw those next. So this is just a little practice. You're going to learn how to do your grid. You're going to learn how to add detail. Eventually, you're going to learn how to add value. Questions on this right now? So this is coming for your at-home learning Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you're not here, these images, there'll be 2 images to choose from in Google Classroom. You can print them at home. Hopefully when you print at home, they come out to be an even 6 by 8 inches like they are here.